Welcome to another episode of the Blemished Beauty Podcast. This podcast was designed with you in mind. If you're ready to erase the norm and embrace the truth, come pull up a chair, grab a journal, and tell a friend that your favorite Jersey girl is back with another episode. So let's get into it.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Blemished Beauty Podcast. And I am your host, your favorite Jersey girl, Shira Renee. And today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Miss Alicia Freeman. And her and I go way back from our paparazzi days. We're not going to get into all of that because most of y'all probably don't know what paparazzi is. But anyway, this is still season 4. We are still talking about survivor stories. And this is your trigger warning. So every episode in season 4 has some type of trigger warning because we are talking about all things domestic violence, suicide, infant loss, and any other thing that you can think of. So I'm going to bring her on the stage after her countdown, and we're going to tap into the conversation. Hey, lady.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm excited about this episode because, I haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to see your face.
Yeah, and I know with my grades popping and everything.
That's wisdom, boo. That's wisdom.
Nothing but I've had at least one since I was 6 years old. So
Really?
yes, ma'am. You just let them go.
Wow. I'm 38. I still ain't got none, so let me knock on wood, I guess.
Praise them.
I know, right? I got that good melanin, I guess.
Yes. Well, my hair when I was younger also turned like a red color in the summer. So
that was probably pretty. No?
I ain't like
it. We're not gonna talk about
it. But then I ain't like it, but you do whatever God gives you. That's what it was at that point. You just exist in the place that God has for you.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing that we're doing now.
Right. And that's a good segue because touching on survivor stories, a lot of us are dealing with what God has given us, right? Mm-hmm. And we're learning now how to navigate through the things that we've been through, mm-hmm. and being more vocal about the things that we've been through because we know that we are overcome by our testimonies. Yes. And it's easy for us to keep it to ourselves, but when we do tell it, we'll be surprised at the people that it could bless.
Right.
So in your case, you are a veteran. So I know you got a whole bunch of survival stories just off that alone.
Just off that alone.
But what is the topic that you you want to talk about in regards to survivor stories?
I am going to talk about domestic violence, focusing especially on my first marriage, mm-hmm. because I thought he was somebody magnificent, wonderful, all of them good things. And oh my gosh, it was when we finally started settling into our married routine, mm-hmm. when I got to Fort Stewart, Georgia, that I actually learned who my ex-husband was. And I'm going to say this disclaimer. He is passed. He has passed. Mm. And I have 2 adult children from that marriage. So yeah. It's definitely a I don't say it's a challenge, but it's definitely something that I learned to navigate.
Right.
And I'm very cautious on as a matter of fact, I'll tell you, I haven't even really told them exactly what transpired because they were very young, mm-hmm. and they missed it. And I'm thankful that they missed it.
Yeah.
And before somebody looks in my face and is like, she got a black eye right now. No, what happens when I get a little stressed is I get a little dark. It's like, I guess it's like blood vessels underneath my eye. I don't have a black eye right now. And believe me, they're still very active in therapy. You know, I will suggest to anyone that has been through it, start out with a group.
Yeah.
And just sit for the first couple meetings, and as the Lord leads you, start letting that stuff go, because if you don't let it go, oh my gosh, it's definitely a challenge. Because I did sit and let it fester for a couple years. I mean, I had a couple years where I let it fester, and it wasn't a positive thing. So I'll just take you back to 17. I went in the military, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, happy. Eventually I got sent to Korea, which is where I met my husband. And you know, didn't live a saved life then. But hindsight is 2020. Abstinence is best, because then that way you don't get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
You do not get caught up. I mean, I have a lot in my lineage, and then to mix a lineage that I didn't know with my lineage that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
My God. And them soul ties get to tying.
Baby.
I'm telling you, it can be a positive thing, you know, if it's a healing situation, or a very, very toxic thing if it is not a positive situation. So yes, ma'am.
So you did you get, well, they say usually in those cases where it's like domestic violence, you get love bombed. Was it like a lot of that? Like, and everybody's love bombing is different. Like this, like for me, in my experience, my ex was just like, he seemed like, okay, he was the best father. He would be a super dope husband. He loved 90s R&B. I love 90s R&B. This is the one, Jesus.
Oh, see, I was living through the 90s R&B, because this was 1991.
Oh man, good times.
It was 1991. I was in the military, and everybody thought I was a cat's meow because I was a little slim little thing. I was back then I was about I think I was 130 pounds.
Okay.
I'm plus 100 now, so we on that other side. But yes, ma'am. Yes, I did get love bombed. I got love bombed while I was in Korea. I got love bombed once I got to Georgia, because he was the ultimate, lack of a better word. He was the ultimate, because he made sure that he made sure that sorry about that. He made sure that I was I had a place to stay when I got to Georgia. It was a very nice trailer home. I had never lived in a trailer, because I'm from New York, you know.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm
we
from
don't know
New
nothing about
York.
that up here.
Right. So I had a trailer home. We was in the middle of a lot. We had neighbors, and it was just
fairy tale.
Yeah. For me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fairy tale, but it wasn't. You know, I wanted the house, or the townhouse or something. But I was thinking that everything was, you know, everything. Because he told me he was a football player. He told me that he played basketball. He told me he did all of these great and lovely things that turned out not to be true.
Wow.
So, and then, you know, we got married. He went the extra mile and got me a little tinfoil piece of ring. I should have known when his ring split. He had it on his hand. He did like this, and his ring split. I should have known. but you know. And then into my marriage, you know, we had a few little arguments. It wasn't that crucial, but they started to escalate. One time he got mad at me and threw all of my little clothes outside. Wow. And when I say all my little clothes, I'm talking suede in the rain, in the mud, in the dirt.
Oh no.
Yes, ma'am. And then never mind. I'm sorry. We gonna work this out. Stayed with him. My first daughter was born because I was pregnant before I left Korea. My first daughter was born, and like not even like about 2 months later, my son was conceived. And during the processing of my blood work and my panels, when I first got pregnant with my son, I found out that I had an STD. So he was cheating on me as well.
Oh my God.
Yes, ma'am. So, but yeah, when you're in the midst of it, you're not really thinking, oh, he's cheating on me.
Right.
You wouldn't think that he was cheating. Because he was home at a certain time. Oh, I'm going to play basketball with my friends, this, that, and the third. And I said, oh, okay, go ahead, handle your business. That was always my thing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And he was actually taking that time to see somebody on post.
Wow.
In his unit.
Wow.
Or it could have been outside the unit. I just didn't know. But nonetheless, challenge. So, and I was actually in New York when I found out about my blood work, because I called back down to Georgia to check on my blood work and all of my exams and stuff. And they told me I needed to get back and get my medication. Wow. Then I went through a period where I almost lost my son. So my son really is a miracle baby, because I went into preterm labor because of the stress of finding out about the STDs. And it just was a challenge all the way around as far as that's concerned, because like I still had my daughter, and she was barely a year old then.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't even a year old. She was still under
a year.
Because I got pregnant when she was like 2 months, or 2 to 3 months, because like they're 13 months, 2 weeks apart, my first two. So they're relatively close together. And when you're finding out everything and you're like, I don't know who I got.
Right.
And then there's, different things coming from the family, like, oh, you think you're all of that because you got married. And so I had it coming from both sides.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge, but I lived through it, pushed through it, kept going. I didn't let too much of anything. And I wanted to tell you this too. I came completely bare today, because I'm going to bear some stuff. And I've already bared some stuff. But that's how it goes with, my gosh, I just got chills.
I can imagine.
I just got chills because it really took me back to think about that. I was only, when I first got pregnant with my daughter, I was 18. Was I 18? Yeah, because I had her. Did I have her? I had her at 19. I had her at 19. So she was conceived in I want to say September, August timeframe. And then, you know, everything while I was pregnant, he took care of me. He was taking care of his older son. He was just supposed to have been, this upstanding person, but as I soon found out, it was not. Pardon me, I'm gonna put that pen down. Because, it is difficult talking about this stuff, especially since we're digging this stuff up from 32 years ago, 30 years ago. But I still stayed.
And so what was it that made you stay? Did you stay for the kids? Did you stay because of love? Because those are some of the reasons people stay.
I would say I was very naive. Oh. I was very naive. I had no clue on what it was to be married, what it was to have a family, even though I'm a child of parents who are still married. Mm-hmm. So if you hear a little overflow from in the background, I try to let everybody in the house know, but I do have family in the household with me, and I have my parents with me now, and my parents are still married, same mother, same father.
Love it.
But yeah, it was definitely a naive thing. I just didn't want to give up quickly.
Right.
But I did. But I didn't, excuse me, because I was there. I was enjoying my time. We moved to another trailer park and still enjoying my time. And then I just got tired and fed up and I left. I actually left him. I left the area. I said I wasn't coming back, but I did go back because he was on the phone crying and begging and pleading. Mm-hmm. And I went back. Of
course.
And it was for the kids. We're going to do better for the kids. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'll roll with that.
So what was the pivotal moment where you was just like, enough is enough? Because people are going to listen to this and they're going to watch this, and people are currently in this same situation. And some people have left and didn't look back, and some people have left and then came back for those same reasons. So, a lot of the times when you're in these situations, you feel like you cannot leave. It's not possible to leave. Like, I'm stuck here, so I need to just stay. So what was the pivotal moment for you to say, yeah, no, this is it. I'm good. I'm leaving.
Okay, when I finally made up my mind to leave, I was in actually I didn't leave. I sent him home. Now when I left him the first time, I was in Georgia. Mm-hmm. I went to Texas for like a month or so. I went back to Georgia. He got me a different place, a nice townhouse. Got me what I wanted. Mm-hmm. He got me a nice townhouse. We were, living it up. Then he was chaptered out of the military, and we went to Alabama. There was some iffy times in there when he was in Alabama. He was in Alabama. Well, we were in Alabama. Then I went back active duty because I was basically working 60 hours a week, and we couldn't even afford like a decent place to live. So I was like, all right, fine, we'll just go ahead and we'll move to, I'll go back in the military because I could get back in we'll go back in the military and we'll live our life. We moved out to California, and things still progressed to the way things were, because it actually was worse, because he didn't want, when we got to California, he didn't want to work. It was just a lot of stuff that was going on. So I said, you know what? We got into a position, we were getting ready to move on post, and I was like, well, no, we lived on post together, or didn't we? We were in the process of moving. And I actually looked at him and I was like, it's either you or me, and this ain't working. So I put him on a bus. I sent him back to Alabama, and I stayed in California. And that was the absolute last time that we split. Last time anybody said something about me and him getting back together, I looked at his grandmother. She was like, you think you and LaGarrett get back together? Ooh. I say his name because my older children. Yeah. You think you and LaGarrett get back together? I said, no, ma'am. Well, sometimes people get divorced and get back together. No, ma'am. Because we were oil and vinegar. We did not mix that all.
Right.
Matter of fact, we were oil and water. You shake us up. We look like we mixing, and then we just separate.
Yeah. Wow.
But no, ma'am. But yeah, that was the turning point when I was like, it's just progressively getting worse. It's not changing. It's not getting better. We are not healing as a couple. And rather than have my kids in toxicity, we separated.
So now moving forward, after going through that and leaving and eventually divorcing, how did that shape your attitude towards dating again and getting married again? Because me now coming out of this situation, I'm like, ooh, child, I don't know. I'm like, I'm sticking my toe in there, but then it's like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know.
It actually took me a while to even consider, because at first I was like, I ain't getting remarried.
I know that's right.
If you show signs of even being a little aggressive,
okay, out.
I was gone. Or I just didn't even really engage. Just like, I'm gonna keep it 100. You get your needs met and you keep it pushing. Because I was saved, but I wasn't all the way saved. When I started getting, a little bit more firm in my Christianity, where I was like, why am I out here living like this? And I got this going on, that going on. I said, oh no. I said, see, I ain't gonna play with God like this.
I know that's right.
I ain't gonna play with God like this. So if it were not for God and his growth in me,
yeah.
I say growth in me, I wouldn't have been in a place where I was like, oh, I'm getting married again. I'm going to do this, that, and the third. I wasn't even looking for marriage. And I'll be honest, my husband, who's in the next room, he, he is the one that pursued me. And it wasn't like a love bomb thing. It was a strong respect thing. And if it wasn't for him leading with respect, we probably wouldn't be together. Do we have a perfect marriage? Absolutely not. But then again, that's the thing. When we're going out into the dating world, we need to take off the perfection lenses. It should be tolerate and not tolerate. Can I tolerate this aspect of this person? And nobody should. And God said that, you should be in your relationship. But let him love you like God loves you.
Right. Right.
And I mean, by that, I'm not saying that there's no man that has a perfect love for anybody,
Right.
but he'll have a perfect love for you.
Mm-hmm.
He will have it's, and believe me, my husband had to love me through some growing pains. And I ain't gonna lie to you, because even still today, I have some depressed days. I mean, but then again,
Absolutely.
that's the nature of me having been in the military
Mm-hmm.
and things that I endured through the military. Story for another day. But that's just the way it is. And making a segue to getting out and dating again, I mean, the only way to do it is one day at a time, like we live our life. If somebody you want to entertain somebody, take it slow. Because I mean, I can describe to you how, like, me and my husband, our first date was he took me to a little eatery. I live in a beach town, so I lived in a beach town. So we went to this little eatery. We sat down, we ate, we talked. Every Sunday when I would bump into him, we would stop, be cordial, talk.
Mm-hmm.
He would look at my car. He was like, dang, somebody keeping her car real clean. But no, baby, I was keeping my car clean. But that's what he learned about me later on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, man, I got to move. And I don't know how I'm going to do all of this stuff. He looked at me. He's like, you want some help? I said, yeah, I'll take the help. Now, I did pay him, though. I did pay him, because I come from a belief system of, if somebody takes their time with you or does something for you, there's an exchange. As far as like manual labor, because there are so many people that do manual labor and people don't
take advantage of them.
They don't take care of them. But long story short, it was little things. So I say take your time. Don't be in a hurry, because if you're in a hurry, your desperation shows through. Oh, I gotta hurry up. Take off the timelines. Get rid of them lists. Because somebody who can manage financially may not be the best person.
Yeah, that part.
And then somebody who, it could be vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who is bad with finances may be the sweetest person on the planet or earth, and you be the one to even him out. I mean,
mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say get rid of lists is because it doesn't make sense. Imagine if a gentleman had a list for you and things that you have to have. We're not perfect. So go in with lead with the same imperfection that where you're coming from. Don't be a fool.
Right.
We all have the propensity to change. All of us. And it's like, that's the biggest thing. Are they willing to grow, or are they just content with being where they are?
Right.
And can you live with his contentment?
Right. That part.
That's a powerful one.
Yeah.
Because that contentment, it just varies.
You got to know what your deal breakers are. And like you said, it all comes down to knowing who you are and knowing whose you are, because the more you get into a relationship with God, the more you understand how he sees you. And then that's how you start to see you as well.
Precisely.
And then that shows on the outside what you should and should not tolerate. If I'm God's best, and I'm not going to tolerate anything less than that. So how you talk to me, the rooms I walk into, the people that I connect with, all of that's got to change, because I've changed. And it all boils down to that relationship. And you won't know when you do have somebody worthy of being in a relationship with until you are in the ultimate relationship, and that's with God.
Yeah.
I love that you said that.
And you have to look at him through the eyes of God. And not only that, but you got to pray and pray hard, because it's not just the person that's in front of you today. It's the person that you're going to see 5 years from now, and then 5 years after that. Because evolution comes at 5 years, at 5-year intervals.
I love it.
Because look, 5 is the number of grace. Favor.
Wow.
So, we all adjust. So you just really gotta turn it over to God and ask God what he has to say. And be sure that you're hearing from God.
Yeah.
Be sure that you're hearing from God. And I always say, another thing that I say is get another set of eyes on that person.
Unbiased.
Unbiased. And unbiased came through the eyes of both of our pastors. We were in the same church together at one church. He refocused and moved to another church, and his pastor then became my pastor once we got married, because I moved to a more rural area. So I adjusted to his church. So, I mean, that is the deal breaker, really. Because if you're going to church every Sunday and you have your beliefs and you have your way of being, and he's not meeting you, that's not going to be a good situation. That's another thing. As saved women, we really have to be like, okay, is he just going through the motions, or is he really God's man?
That part. And the Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree?
Exactly.
So that is prime example, because I'm a visual person. That is prime example of what that scripture says. You doing one thing and he doing another. You like to pray on Sundays, he's at the hookah lounge. Like it's not the same. The value don't match.
And here's the funny thing. If y'all are in two different church houses, after y'all have come together, and made the decision that, hey, we're going to get married. If y'all are in two different church houses, y'all can't even agree on one church to go to. A divided house can never stand. That's biblical.
And again, you don't know none of this if you don't have that relationship. So it all boils down to having that relationship with God. Yeah.
And it keeps coming back to God. I mean, if we don't look at God first, if we don't seek God first, like you see somebody like, oh, God, let me know if that's the one. And then he'll throw out like one of your deal breakers.
If you been, you're not supposed to been. But we've been, because he's 6 feet. Lord, okay. I don't like smokers, but ain't no buts. It should be no buts.
No, see, now health things, absolutely not. If y'all ain't seeing eye to eye on that, you can't. Because health is wealth. And you really got to look at, are we the same? You got to look at, are we the same? Because you can't blow smoke in my face and I'll be cool with it. You can't kiss me with smoker's lips and I'll be cool with it.
That part. But this was definitely something that people needed to hear, because you went through a certain marriage, but now you have the total opposite, and there is life on the opposite side. So I am definitely glad that you took the opportunity to come and share your story and own your scars, because I believe that people will be blessed by this. I'm going to give you a moment to tell people where they can find you and, you know, all the stuff that you do, anything that you want to promote, and we'll take it from there.
Well, hello, everybody. Just to let you know that I am Alicia Freeman. I am the owner of Blessed Hands Creative Concepts. We are currently undergoing a wonderful restructuring. If you would like to, and you feel like you're in North Carolina and you want to come to church, at my church, I am pastored by Dr. Apostle Carlos Shipman at 1904 Sandpots Highway. Come on and join us Sunday at 10 a.m. We will be glad to see you. This Sunday, I'm going to be on the door because I am an usher as well. I look forward to seeing you all on social media. You can slide over to TikTok. I'm really not on there much. I don't have much on my TikTok, but it is at Army Mompreneur. Over there on TikTok. Right here on Facebook, I'm Alicia Freeman. That's right on the bottom of the screen. And of course, Blessed Hands Creative Concepts is on Facebook as well. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to serving you. You have a blessed day. And I pray that anything that I said helps.
So what part of North Carolina are you in?
I am in Southeast North Carolina. And the reason why I say I'm in Southeast North Carolina, because if I say the town, most people don't realize where I am, because I'm about 30 miles outside of Wilmington.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Fayetteville, Whiteville, Raleigh.
I'm 20 miles from Whiteville.
Okay, cool.
I'm 20 miles down 74.
Okay, cool.
What I tell everybody, I'm about halfway between Wilmington and Whiteville.
Awesome.
If you blink too hard, you're going to miss us.
Thank you so much, sis, for coming on and being a part of this amazing season in this episode. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome, and I look forward to seeing what you do next.
Thank you. As always, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And most of all, I want you to remember that you are graced and gifted for a time such as this. You have purpose in this world, and you have been created to do great and amazing things. So until next episode, you guys, talk to you later.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to leave a review. You can follow Shira on all major platforms and on YouTube at Shira Renee 510. Until next time, spread love, show grace, and shine bright.